Hey, Jen.
Hey, Joy. How you doing,
I'm
beautiful?
good, beautiful. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Awesome.
Yes. Thanks for doing this live with me. I
Of
was
course.
I was inspired by the live that you did over the weekend before you guys went out to dinner.
Yeah.
Yes, and it definitely reminded me of how like the work-life balance question I get pretty often as well. It just reminded me of that. Like it kind of like commingles really.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so but really I just wanted to come on here because I do want to start a series of women that are business owners.
I love it.
And
I love it.
maybe it will be bigger than this one day, but this is my idea that I had about a year ago. I was filming them. I kind of didn't like how they were coming out, but this is a start, like a rebrand and refresh of that, because I get questions often about running a real estate business, how I got started, and I know that other women, especially young women, they have questions about how to run other
Mm-hmm.
businesses. So let me just do like a quick little intro for my girl. So Joy, this is Joy Maxwell, everybody. Joy is a daycare owner. She started off as a teacher with the School District of Philadelphia, and she owns and operates several daycare centers, not just here in PA, but also in the state of Florida, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So I've known Joy for, gosh, like probably over almost 15 years. I think I've known
Yeah.
Joy, and she's always been great to work with. We work together a little bit. We'll get into that a little bit, and like I said, like I want to start the series where we can encourage other women who want to start businesses as well, and who want to learn how to be business owners, and what does it take to be a business owner and run and operate a successful one at that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Joy, tell us a little. Well, let's first talk about like how we met.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So it's so funny. So actually, I think that our hairdresser connected us because we went to the
Yes.
same hairdresser.
Yes.
Okay, so we went to the same hairdresser, and she signed up to sell this hot product back in the day. This was like what, 2000 and
It was the 2000s, something like that.
I want
It was
to say it was
2000
like
something.
2003, 2004, around there.
Right.
So our hairdresser signed up to sell Body Magics, and she brought us on as we were selling them too. I don't know. So I meet Jen. We were having like weekly meetings for this multi-level marketing company. And we were selling a little bit of everything. We were selling the tea. We were selling Body Magics. We were selling the liquid vitamin, right? So the company was called Artist International. I don't even know if Artist is still out. Do you think they're still out?
I've looked at their website about a year ago. I think they are, actually.
Okay.
I think they are.
So the company was Artist International. You know what's so interesting, Jen? I met Stormy during that time.
Me too.
I met Coach Stormy at a Philadelphia event at the airport Marriott.
Airport.
Yep.
Yep.
Met Stormy. She came. She was a guest speaker. She definitely was not who she is today. So just to see her growth, that's like cool. But we were selling Body Magic. We were traveling, doing shows. We were Body Magics were very intense because although it was a garment, it was a medical grade garment that really snatched people in and helped them lose weight. And, it conformed their stomach, so it made their stomach kind of obey to this new garment. But it was a lot of work getting those people in the Body Magic and still making them feel that they weren't too big or, not embarrassing them, because sometimes we would have the thing that the little hooks, remember, they would pop.
They would pop. Yep. They would pop.
So that was a lot of hard work. It was dedication showing up for those clients, but they had awesome results. They were losing weight. They were snatched. It was good. It was good. So Jen was one of our team partners, and we got to work together, and it was really fun. It was really cool.
Yes. And basically Joy and I, like she said, like we traveled together, we did business together, we attended like weekly meetings that were held in our girlfriend's hair salon at the time.
Yeah.
And we were just meeting, showing up, and just learning how to sell, just learning like how to be good saleswomen, and the client service aspect of it, which is a huge piece of being a business owner and continuing to run a successful business.
Yes.
Without client-based services, there, you know, like you're not going to get that repeat business that we often got, like while we were selling, you know, those body magics and everything. And we were dedicated as well. Like we were dedicated to the business. Some of us had like other jobs that we were working. Some of us were doing it full time, and we were dedicated. We were going everywhere.
Yes.
Snatching a city. Yes, that's right. We were snatching a city, okay? We were going everywhere, and we were like a nice sized team, and we had excellent sales as well.
We did.
And there was one time that I'm not sure if you were here at that event, but we did a secret meeting at one of the utility companies here in Philadelphia. Were you at that meeting?
No. That was somebody worker had invited y'all down.
Invited us down, and there was a secret meeting that they had in one of their like little conference rooms. Like everybody, all these ladies went to their break at the same time, and we were putting them in body magics there. Yeah, I'm not going to say the name of the utility company, but but you know, so that was like just a testament to the dedication and the hard work and the repeat services, because we only got that opportunity to sell there to all those women because someone else told them about the services and the products that we provided. So that's a little bit about like how Joy and we met and we started doing business together. But like I also want you to talk about like how you got started in business as a daycare owner.
Okay. So it's very interesting that childcare was the business that took us to six figures and beyond, but that wasn't our first business. So I actually come from a family of entrepreneurs. My father and mother owned a restaurant in South Philadelphia back in the 70s.
Okay.
Yep.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, it was called J&L Lounge.
Okay.
And it was a well-known, like family-ran African-American establishment that you could go after work and get a meal, have good conversation. It was really nice. And so by the time I was born, we're going to speed up to the 80s, my father was about to retire. And so he had actually let my mom open a small home childcare in our house in North Philadelphia.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So at this point, he was ready to retire. He was already in his 70s. He was, he had teamed up with a friend, and he was a limo driver for his friend. So they kind of did some joint ventures together. Okay. They had a small candy store on Broad and Girard, and then they had the home daycare center. Okay. And so my mom and dad, you know, they were like a younger example of Black excellence, because my father believed in, you know, you don't owe anybody anything. Cash is king. You pay for everything you have. You make sure your mortgages is paid off. So like he had properties around the city, and he really was like he was an OG. He was an older guy, and he, you know, swooped my mom up off her feet. She's a little young John. Okay. So by the time they got married, he was already like 30 years older than her. He was much more settled. He was very business savvy. And so by the time I came along, I kind of had got bit by the bug early on. So I'm talking about, I was the girl that sold jewelry in her living room, out her trunk of her car, in college, selling candy. Like I always had something that I was doing. Right. And so by the time childcare came along, the year before, we had already opened a clothing boutique off of City Line Avenue. So the clothing store was off of 47th and City Line, across from LA Fitness. So it was a little small.
That's a nice part of the avenue.
It was a little small shop over there. And we sold like jewelry, pocketbooks, scarves, all that type of stuff. And so that same year, we decided to open a childcare, and we also started in our house, my husband and myself. And so when we started the childcare and the boutique at the same time, I didn't realize I was pregnant. Literally, I was like, wait a minute, something's off here. I wasn't feeling well. We had just got to Atlanta to go to the magic show to pick up inventory from wholesalers, and I was sick. And so we found out we're pregnant. And so at this point, we say, well, you know what? The boutique had only been open for like 6 months. I said, let's talk to the landlord. Let's just close down the boutique because there's no way I could do both. So we continued with the childcare business. My mom came and worked with me. We grew the childcare business. Once we realized that it was kind of like a method to the madness when it comes to childcare. It's like you always know 5 plus 5 is going to equal 10. And if your ultimate goal is to get to 10, if you only have 3 plus 2, then you know you're not going to get to 10. And so we knew that our goal in childcare was to be first to provide a quality service for families, but we also knew that we wanted to create family legacy and you know, business in the same token. And so when we started in our home program, we could only have 6 children at a time. Those dynamics were not going to give us the 5 plus 5 that equal 10. So then we got to another location. The second location was a group childcare program. You could only have 12 children. And so it went back to the math again, the equation. It wasn't going to give us the number that we ultimately needed to be okay in our finances, because at this point we had 4 children. No, we had 5. We had 5 at this point. We had student loan debt. We had mortgages. We had a house in Darby. We had a house in Philly. We was about to buy a house in Jersey. We had a lot of moving pieces. And so our bottom line, we knew we needed to make a certain amount. And so that second location quickly grew to a third location. The third location was the one where we were finally able to see those 6 figures grow into 7 figures and to business. And so what I realize now is if I had it to start all over, I would do it totally different. I would not take the stair steps to the big location. I would have just started with the big location. Like literally right now in Florida, we are we're looking and we're in talks with just starting something bigger. So when it comes to childcare, some people say, well, no, I just want to be comfortable. I just want to make, what I make now as a salary. If you're a person, and let's say like me, I was making $40,000 a year as a classroom teacher for the Philadelphia School District with a bachelor's and a master's. I think the most I had gotten up to by the time I left was $50,000. If you're a person that says, I just want to do something that's going to make my current salary, then yes, you could start a home program, a group program, and you would be totally fine. If you're a person that owes over $150,000 in student loan debt like I do, and need a little bit more, then you might want to start with a bigger location. Because the thing is, you might make the revenue, but that's not your profit. So a lot of times people get confused when it comes to business, because they say, oh no, I saw she made $750,000. Yeah, but her overhead, was $675,000. So
that's what I
only profited $25,000.
And I want you to talk about that as well, because it's okay to start small, just like how you started small. But eventually, when you do want to grow and you want to scale, of course, your overhead is going to continue to grow as well. And that's not something that we don't automatically think that right off the bat. We're not thinking about how our overhead is growing. We have, you're doing business loans at that time. So you got to be able to pay back those business loans. You have inventory that you need to buy, rent that you need to pay, other mortgages that you need to pay as well, supplies that you need to buy. So these are the kind of things that, you don't see on Instagram. You see the ownership, you see the nice cars, and, before we were seeing the private jets and all that during the pandemic. But
some people,
it seems like people are coming back to reality now. And there's nothing wrong with that. Once you do scale up and make it to that position, there's no hate, if they had it, if they didn't, but it's about scaling up and then making it to that point to get to making 6 figures, 7 figures in any business that you have. So I wanted you to talk more so about that, what it takes to scale up to make those 6 and 7 figures. And that's probably what people want to hear about right now too.
And so let me say this to be very extremely honest, because there have been some platforms that I had been on before and been a part of before, and the biggest issue was people weren't being 100% honest. And I'm going to be a person that always operates in integrity, because I fear God more than I fear anything or anybody else. And so when it comes to business, when it comes to making the revenue, when it comes to making the money, oftentimes when people are starting off in business, if you take out any type of debt whatsoever, I don't care if you borrowed it from your mama, okay? If you make $100, but you have a debt of $500, that $100 doesn't belong to you. So
Right.
oftentimes people see, oh my goodness, they making money, they getting money, they going here, they doing there. What they're doing is accumulating debt. If you're not paying for this stuff with cash, and if you're not leveraging business credit, like, okay, I'm gonna take this business credit and I'm gonna purchase this, I call them vehicles. So whatever this vehicle is, I have this vehicle, it's a loan, it's $100,000, it's gonna afford me to open up 3 additional classrooms.
Okay.
That vehicle now has a car note for your loan, right? You know you have to pay that car note every month in order for you to keep using that vehicle. However, at any point, if the leverages don't match up and you're no longer bringing in the revenue to meet the quota of paying that car note, you're in debt.
Right.
You're in debt. So people are now looking like, oh, wow, they got this, they got that, they got all your credit cards maxed out. Your taxes ain't been filed in 2 years. Your profit and loss statements are radical because you are not making a profit. You're only showing a loss on your bottom line.
Right.
And so people don't see that part of business. And so during COVID, like 2 months before COVID, we actually acquired a building. And when I tell you this building it was going to be our milk and honey, it was going to be our land of milk and honey. Okay. The building was 20,000 square feet. It was zoned, the building was zoned for not more than 1,000 people at a time. That's what the license said, okay? The project became so hefty. If I had a business partner or an investor, I would have done this differently, but I didn't. We were doing this from the muscle, my husband and myself, family members. So we were only able to get the first and second floor zoned for childcare with just the whole first floor and half of the second floor. The building was zoned for 118 children. We did what we thought we were supposed to do. We went to our CPA. We got her to, at that time it was a female, we got her to run our projections. She ran all our numbers. She told us, okay, at this amount of children per month, you should see this amount. And if and when you reach maximum capacity, you should be seeing $150,000 a month. Now, if you have a vehicle that's going to be bringing in those amount of children, you have to realize that your price tag for that monthly rent is going to be on the higher end because that was a very big building. So the overall rent for the building was $15,000 a month. All right. The issue is we never factored in COVID or anything like COVID. So we got opened in December. March, we were shut down. At the time that we were shut down, enrollment was just picking up. So literally we may have been at about 25, 30 children. Okay. Remember, we're supposed to be getting to 118. So what happened was the city shut us down. So we were closed March, April, May, June. We didn't open that location back up till August of that same year. We opened back up. We instantly get 25 kids. But remember, we're under budget because every month we're supposed to be making 150,000. Right. So we're already under budget, right? So people are like, oh, that building is beautiful. Oh, I see all those kids when I drive by. Oh, I know y'all making money. And we're like, what are you, delusional? Do you not know how much this electric bill is every month? This is a $2,500 electric bill every month. Right. So at this point, like, we're contacting services. We're getting in contact with other centers, other schools. We're providing after school program. We open up a cyber hub. I mean, we were in there, right? The next issue that happens is the neighbors start to complain. They don't want a childcare center there. They saw us opening this childcare center for a whole year. They don't want the childcare center there. They don't want to hear the kids playing. The husband works at night. He sleeps during the day. They don't want to hear the kids playing. I mean, these neighbors started to make it a living hell for us. Now, mind you, we have other locations open.
Right.
We have a location on another part of Northeast Philadelphia. And then we also acquired a location in Orlando, Florida. So we had other things going at the same time. However, the biggest one that was our biggest, you know, drain, it was our biggest budget, was the one that was performing under budget. So all those months we still had to pay the landlord. All those months we still had to pay utilities. We still had to pay the staff. We cut back on some of the staff, but there were some issues there that was like, wow, we kind of could have did this differently, or could have pulled out of this project early on if we would have,
right.
you know, known what was going on or what was going to transpire. And so I say, people see the glory behind business ownership, and they very rarely share some of the things that could go wrong, the things that could possibly happen, the issues that could come up, and what your problem solving or group solving needs to look like.
Yep.
And so, of course, we wound up closing that location because it just was not a location that we were really going to see what we needed to see to make our money back. And so we did wind up closing that location. But the thing that we learned in that particular location and with that business model is that when you go into a residential area, you really need to tap into the market first to make sure that the neighbors have the buy-in, because ultimately neighbors can make or break you. These neighbors started making false phone calls to LNI. They started making false phone calls to the police. The police wound up coming over. We had to get a mediator. It was just all types of drama at this location. And so you want to make sure that you're doing your due diligence when you're opening businesses, and you want to make sure that it's going to be a site that could be lucrative, that's going to have the visibility that you need. Now, take case in point, our other center is only zoned for 59 children. However, they always have a waiting list. So that revenue and that profit and loss statement looks totally different than our other location.
Right.
Okay.
But the importance is that, like, you felt something, like something moved you to close that location and then pivot. Like, you didn't just pivot not only when COVID came and the shutdown came, the city shut you down. You also thought of ways to think outside of the box, like how you can still provide services to the community, and you know how to pivot and be a problem solver at the same time. And that was truly important. Like, when you are a business owner, it's probably one of the main things that will help to keep you in business too, is learning how to pivot and to problem solve.
Yeah. And I think also being quick to pivot, because sometimes people stay in a bad situation too long, all for the sake of, I'm in business, I'm a business owner, I have to, stick to it. No, if the signs are there, the projections are there, that's not going to be a good location, that's not going to be a good idea.
Yep.
It's no embarrassment in pulling out and pivoting. Let me start over. Let me try this again. Let me turn a different way. Is no, is no problem in that. And I think sometimes people let pride keep them in bad situations too long.
Right. Yep. And then, like, you just have to, like, you feel something. I'm sure that you felt something that's saying, you know what, this isn't rolling right. So let's try this. And then you try something else. And then you said, okay, so it's not working out. Let's focus on these other buildings. Let's, even like you're building this in Orlando, Florida, just making sure that, like, you are grooming those businesses so that you can still have your, have a nice profit loss statement, still have that great income coming in so that you can pay those bills. And sometimes you have to pay to get out of situations, which is okay too. And, you can't let that shut you down. You can't let that take you out of the game. It just means that you just have to pivot.
Yeah. And what I learned in this situation, which was awesome, is when I first opened the the fourth location, we were still using the same EIN number and the same business entity. And so the new CPA we got was like, we need to kind of like separate some of this so that if you're going to do this under an LLC, a S Corp, a C Corp, an incorporation, whatever the case may be, you're doing it to a point where everything is separate and you can see how each business stands on its own.
Yep.
And so we were able to go in and get 3 different separate bank accounts. we were able to, make sure that if this location is applying for something, our locations were able to apply for PPP loans, and we were able to get them forgiven because we, legally had payroll to pay and proof that we
legitimately a business.
Proof that we paid payroll, and they forgave those loans. So, it was just good to get all your business in order, to have everything in order when it comes to finances. It just makes it so much easier for anything you do next. It really does.
Yeah. So, like I said, this is just like a series of different women. Joy, you're the first guest, but this is a different series of different women that I personally know that are in business, and to inspire other women to get in business.